Can't stand speeches, so this won't take very long. Frank, I just want to say how very proud I am. We both are, your mother and I.
Hear, hear.
You have survived heaven knows what in the cause of freedom. Along with Mark here. This is for you too, old chap. You have shown courage and fortitude, which will never be
Get a move on.
And, God willing, you will soon all be free to come home to your beautiful wives. And life can return to the way it was before it was so rudely interrupted by her Hitler. Happy birthday, Frank.
Morning, Mary.
Morning, Miss Rowland.
St. Mary Mead 235.
Oh, Jane, I'm so glad you've come.
Oh, Dolly, what a terrible thing.
I know. Rather thrilling, isn't it?
Good morning, Colonel.
I'm Miss Marple. I hope...
Finish your breakfast, Arthur.
But whose is it?
No one knows.
I'm afraid nobody's allowed inside, madam.
Oh, nonsense. Strangled, apparently.
She's very young.
Yes, I suppose she is. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Thank God you're here.
Thought I'd better come along myself. Dreadful. No idea who she is?
Never set eyes on her in my life.
You'll be all right.
Butlers? Servants?
As mystified as I am.
Oh, Terence.
Dolly, terribly sorry.
Yes, simply dreadful, isn't it?
Miss Marple.
Good morning, Colonel.
Old Marple's quick off the blocks.
Look here, Bantry. Got to get this off my chest. If you were tied up with this girl, shouldn't blame you, you know. Man of the world and all that. Damn it all, Melchett. I don't know from Adam. The question is, then, what the hell's she doing in your library?
Well, perhaps she came with a burglar. After all, the window was forced. Oh, that's stupid, isn't it? Dancing, perhaps? Maybe a party? We don't have that kind of thing down here.
No.
I got back from the Conservatives Association about 11:45. I turned straight in. Why so late? Spotted trouble. Flat tire. I see. And Dolly? Fast asleep. More likely is that she came down from town. Perhaps with some young fellow. Certainly not the type you'd see around here, at least.
Basil Blake.
No. His mother's the nicest woman imaginable, and so generous with her cuttings.
All the same, there's been a lot of talk.
He was the most adorable baby in his bath, Jane. No, you couldn't possibly think that.
No. That would be jumping to conclusions.
Then again, he has been extremely rude to Arthur on more than one occasion.
It's something to do with films. Poisonous young brute needs a good kick up the backside. He's taken that ghastly new house on the Lansham Road. He has parties for all those dubious types shrieking like banshees.
And after the last one, a young woman was found in the bath with practically nothing on. And recently, I expect you've heard, he's been seen with a platinum blonde.
Platinum blonde, eh? I say, Melchett, you don't think.
Basil Blake.
Yeah?
Colonel Melchett, Chief Constable. May we step inside for a few moments?
I don't think so.
I understand that last weekend you had a visitor.
Did I?
A fair-haired young lady.
Where's the world coming to?
This morning, the body of a fair-haired young lady was found murdered.
Struth.
In Gossington Hall, in the library.
Old Bantry's gaff. Well, I know her. Dirty dog.
Can you shed any light on this?
Hello. What's this then?
You bastard!
A fair-haired young lady.
Why did you leave me?
You were filthy drunk.
I was having a good time.
I'm so sorry, Colonel. Where are my manners? Dinah Lee, minor actress.
Major slut!
Slut! What about that Spanish bitch?
We were discussing the film!
With your hand down her blouse?
Very much alive, I think you'll agree. So I suggest you look for Bantry's bit of fluff elsewhere.
Good morning.
This is Miss Marple.
And you must be...
Dinah Lee.
Miss Lee, yes. I was just about to leave. I'm collecting for the new organ, and your friend was kind enough to offer me coffee. Colonel Melchett's bark, you know, is much worse than his bite. A result, I suspect, of having all these men under him. Did you, design the house yourself?
Well, I did the...
Minimalist, I think is the word. Yeah. Most enlightening. Yeah. Thank you so much.
May I?
Oh, thank you.
She was strangled with the waistband of her dress.
Time of death?
Between 10 and half 11.
Can you get any nearer?
Not before 10, not after half 11.
And if you were a betting man?
I'm not.
This is Mrs. Bernard, 65, reported missing a week ago. Pamela Reeves, 16, missing from her home since last night. She'd been to a Girl Guide rally.
Description?
Dark brown hair, pigtails, 5'5". Then there's a Mrs. Saunders, dark hair, blue-eyed. Oh, mind you, everyone knows that, well, except for her husband, that she ran off with a salesman from Leeds.
Melchett.
Oh, Colonel Melchett. Superintendent Harper here.
Harper. What can I do for you?
No, it's what I can do for you, Colonel. Got a little something you might be interested in. Young lady, reported missing.
Yeah?
Miss Ruby Keane. The dance hostess or something at the Majestic Hotel. Didn't come on to do her turn last night.
Description?
5'4", platinum blonde hair, believed to be wearing a black and white diamante dress and silver sandals. Seems her cousin works at the hotel. I'll bring her over to identify the body, shall I?
Any chance of a gin? God, men are pigs.
You think a man did it?
Well, wasn't it?
Any particular man, Miss Turner?
No idea.
So, she was your cousin, was she? Miss Turner?
That's right. Poor kid. I've known her all my life. Not particularly well, but she was a dancer, panto, that sort of thing.
And what was she doing in Denmark?
It was because of me. I'm the dance and bridge hostess at the Majestic Hotel. Apart from the bridge, I do a couple of exhibition dances each evening with Raymond.
Raymond?
Raymond Starr, the tennis and dancing pro. Handsome chap. Got a bit of Argentinian in him. Anyway, about a month ago, I slipped on the rocks after having a swim. Gave my ankle a nasty turn. That put a stop to the dancing for a while, and as I didn't want to risk losing my job, I suggested to the manager that we get Ruby down. She'd been working at the Palais de Danse in Brixton up in London. The idea was that I'd carry on with the hostessing. She'd just do the dancing. Keep it in the family, if you see what I mean.
Go down well, did she?
Oh, yes. She doesn't dance as good as me, but she was quite nice looking. Overdid the makeup a bit. I was always honoured her about that. Doesn't do for a classy place like the Majestic. But you know what girls are. She was only 18.
You're all right, Miss Turner. When was the last time you saw her?
Last night, when she was dancing with Raymond. She'd finished her 10:30 quick-step exhibition with Raymond, and then I noticed her dancing with George Bartlett, one of the young men staying in the hotel.
No bid.
One no trump. That's the last time I saw her. Then, just after midnight, Raymond came over to talk to me.
Excuse me. Where the hell is she?
Who?
Ruby was supposed to be on by now.
Well, I'm sure there's a perfectly innocent explanation. Would you excuse me for a moment? I was vexed, I can tell you. It's just the sort of thing to get the management's back up. Ruby? Ruby? We went up to her room, but she wasn't there. I noticed she'd changed, and usually she kept the same dress on, unless they were doing a special number.
Special number?
A rumba or a Charleston or something. Anyway, I had no idea where she'd got to, so I said I'd do it with him. We dropped the flamenco and plumped for a tango. It's not so hard on the ankle, you see. Mind you, look at it now. Just think, if I hadn't twisted the ruddy thing, she'd be here now. Funny, isn't it, how things turn out? Anyway, we stayed up till about 2. There was still no sign of her. Oh, I was furious.
And in the morning? So then you went to the police?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Well, Mr. Jefferson reported it, sir. He's a guest at the hotel.
Why was that, Miss Turner?
Because I didn't think anything had happened to her. I thought she'd be up to no good with some young man. The last thing the Majestic wants is the police poking their noses everywhere.
What? Tell me, Miss Turner, did Ruby know anyone in St. Mary Mead?
She may have done. Lots of young men come into Danemouth from all over.
Basil Blake, for example?
Blake? Yes, I think I did hear her mention that name. Yes, I'm sure I did.
And did she mention Gossington?
What was his first name?
No, it's not a person, it's a house. Gossington Hall.
No, I never heard her mention that.
The thing is, you see, that's where the body was found.
Well, there's a turn-up.
As if Arthur could have anything to do with it. And don't look at me like that. He's just not that sort of man.
No, dear, of course not.
No, really, he isn't. He's sometimes a little silly about pretty girls, but why not? After all, I've got the garden. She was there on the hearthrug.
I can't understand it. I really can't.
Neither can we.
It's just not the sort of place.
That's what makes it so very interesting.
There we go.
It brings to mind little Tommy Timpson and Miss Martin, our new schoolmistress. She opened a drawer and a frog jumped out.
Is she all right? Oh, yes, she's absolutely marvellous.
Oh, Arthur.
Oh, darling, you're back. How are the pigs?
Yeah.
You find some soothing in a crisis, don't you, darling?
Bantry, old man, I'd like to introduce you to the cousin of the deceased, Miss Josephine Turner. Colonel Bantry.
How do you do?
Pleased to meet you, Colonel.
Sorry about your...
Yes, we're very sorry. You poor girl, it must have been frightfully worrying for you when she disappeared.
To be honest, I was more angry than worried. I never dreamt anything had actually happened to her.
Then why did you report it to the police?
Oh, but I didn't. Mr. Jefferson did.
Jefferson?
Yes. One of the guests at the hotel. He's an invalid. Gets easily upset.
Conway Jefferson?
That's right.
But he's an old friend of ours. Did you hear that, Arthur?
Yes, old Jeff.
He was staying at the Majestic. It was he who reported it to the police. Isn't that a coincidence? We don't see him very often, but we do like him, don't we, Arthur?
Yes, we like old Jeff.
Well, he stayed before.
Fancy, and we never knew. How is he nowadays?
Oh, he's wonderful. Really quite wonderful, considering. Always cheerful, ready with a joke.
The family with him?
Yes, they're all there. Well, the ones who are...
Oh, yes, of course. Very nice, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They're very nice. They are. Really.
And what did she mean by that? They are really. Don't you think there was something?
Oh, I do. It was quite unmistakable. Her manner changed at once when the Jeffersons were mentioned. And another thing, when she said she was angered by the girl's disappearance, she really looked it. And one has to ask oneself why.
Do you know, I think a few days at the seaside might do us both the world of good.
It's the saddest story imaginable. Poor Jeff, such a lovely family, blown to bits by one of those V2 things. Lost the lot of them, and his legs.
Oh, my goodness.
I can't tell you how wonderful he's been. Such courage, he never complains. Adelaide, his daughter-in-law, lives with him, with her son Peter from her first marriage. And most of the time, his son-in-law Mark is there too. I suppose when you've suffered so much together that the ties that bind are hard to break. The whole thing was the most awful tragedy.
Now there's another.
Yes, but nothing to do with the Jeffersons.
Isn't it? After all, it was Mr. Jefferson who went to the police.
You know, Jane, that is curious.
Can I have your ration books, please?
Of course. Lolly.
This way, ladies.
Oh, isn't it divine?
It's very nice, yes.
Hot water! Heaven! Freesia! Ooh!
But don't you think it's a little extravagant?
Oh, you sound just like Arthur, always banging on about tightening our belts. We deserve a little bit of pampering, surely. After all, life's been so unutterably gloomy. Oh, bliss!
Nice to see you keeping your hand in, sir.
What do you mean by that?
Taking the case on personally. Still, I suppose with Colonel Bantry being an old mate and all.
I suggest, Harper, you keep your suppositions to yourself.
Josie's been very good finding time for my son Peter after all that's happened.
It's all too ghastly.
Isn't it? And Jeff, my father-in-law, he's taken it very badly. He was so fond of Ruby.
If you'd rather we didn't...
Oh, no, I'm sure he'd love to see you.
Keep him calm, won't you? His heart's not too good. It's a wonder that the shock didn't do for him.
As bad as that?
It's incredible the way he's rallied. Shall we?
Did you know her well, Mrs. Jefferson?
It's difficult to say. She certainly spent a good deal of time with us. Jeff's always enjoyed the company of young people, but Ruby was a little different from the usual type, and she seemed to fascinate him.
Did you see her last night?
Oh, yes. She joined us as usual after dinner.
All over her stockings.
Jeff, I'm going to write some letters. I slipped away to write some letters before the bridge started. Then later, Ruby started her first dance with Raymond Starr, and we began our bridge, Josie making a fourth. We're all there at the table until midnight. Mark, Josie, Jeff, and I.
One no trump.
No bid.
No bid.
The last I saw of her was when she went off to dance with some young man or other. Then around midnight, Raymond came over to us, very angry, wanting to know where Ruby was. She was due to do her second dance with him, you see, and Josie tried to make light of it. They went up to Ruby's room, but as there was still no sign of her, Josie ended up having to dance. Rather plucky of her, considering her sprained ankle. Jeff was in a terrible state when there was no sign of her this morning and insisted on calling the police.
I hope you don't mind my asking, Mrs. Jefferson, but have you any idea who could have done such a thing?
None whatsoever.
Ruby never said anything, did she, about jealousy? Some man she was afraid of, perhaps, or intimate with?
I'm afraid she didn't, Miss Marple.
Mr. Jefferson's ready for you, Ma'am.
Thank you. Shall we?
Ruby was a little on the cheap side, perhaps, for a hotel of this class, but a nice manner, and she danced well.
Many young men sniffing around?
This isn't a kennel, Superintendent.
Answer the questions, sir.
There was some interest from one or two of the boys, but nothing in the strangling line, I assure you. She got on better with the older gents. There was something of the child about her which they seemed to like.
Mr. Jefferson, for instance.
Yes, he was the one I had in mind. Mr. Jefferson is very fond of young people. I think that he found her amusing.
Why was it him who reported her missing?
Because he was the only one who assumed that anything was wrong. Even Miss Turner thought he was overreacting, but he'd have none of it. He was in such a state and insisted the police be told at once. Miss Turner was very annoyed, but what could she say? The Jeffersons, you see, are amongst our best customers. Nothing is ever stinted when they're staying with us.
Such a happy family, weren't we, Dolly?
Yes, you were.
You know, I still reach out for Margaret in the night. And other times I think I hear her voice. And little Rosamond. And Frank. He was a fighter pilot, along with his two great friends, Mark, my son-in-law, and a chap called Mike Carmody. Mike was Adelaide's first husband, the father of young Peter. Mike was shot down early on. And later, Adelaide married my son, Frank. Now, the year before the war ended, Frank and Mark were home on leave. It was the autumn the V2s were targeted on London. We were celebrating Frank's birthday. That night, a rocket hit close by. Fate plays cruel tricks, don't you think? Adelaide and Mark have been very good to me. But recently, I've realized they have their own lives to lead. Problem is, I'm lonely. And having young people around, well, it lifts the spirits. And that's why during this past month I became friendly with Ruby. She was a complete original, so charming, naive, different from anyone I'd known. She never complained, worked hard, sweet child.
How marvellous I felt up there in front of all those people. The lights all on with that lovely sparkly frock. You know, the one with the pink and the spangles.
I got more and more fond of her, and in the end, I decided to adopt her.
What did Mark and Adelaide have to say about that?
Well, there wasn't much they could say. I'm sure they didn't like it, but they behaved well enough. It's not as though they were dependent on me. You see, when my children married, I turned over a great deal of money to them, so Mark and Adelaide were well provided for when tragedy struck.
So do you mean, Mr. Jefferson, that as well as adopting her, you also intended to make full provision?
That's right, yes.
Had you already done so?
Well, the necessary formalities for legal adoption hadn't been completed, no, but I had changed my will.
I see.
About 10 days ago. £50,000 to be held in trust for Ruby Keene until she was 25.
50,000?
Mm.
But you hardly knew her.
It's my money, and I can do what I like with it.
So, if she hadn't come along...
Well, then it would have gone to Mark and Adelaide.
And if anything happened to you now?
Nothing is going to happen to me, Miss Marple. I may be a cripple, but I'm as strong as an ox.
But if it did?
Then the money would revert to them. Little Ruby. Dear God. She was found some miles away, you know.
Yes, we know.
Do you?
Well, didn't the police tell you?
Tell me what?
But, Jeff, my dear, that's why we're here. The thing is, you see, Ruby Keene was found at Gossington Hall.
I say, it's an awful to-do, isn't it? The sort of thing one reads about in the Sunday papers.
No, well, did you, Mr. Bartlett?
Oh, no, not well at all, no. Hardly at all.
Seems you were the last person to see her alive.
Gosh, was I? Sounds awful, doesn't it? She was absolutely perfectly all right when I saw her. What time was that? Well, I never really know about time. It wasn't very late, I don't think.
Dance with her, did you?
Yes. Yes, as a matter of fact. Yes, I did. Quite early on, though, just after she danced with the Latin chappie. Must have been 10, half past.
I be?
Well, we danced. Not that I'm much of a dancer.
How you dance, Mr. Bartlett, is irrelevant.
Yes, that's right, of course it is. Well, we danced round and round, and I talked quite a lot, and Ruby yawned quite a lot. As I say, I'm not much of a dancer. Sorry, I know, not relevant, and girls tend to give it a miss, if you know what I mean. And she said she had a headache, and I know where to get off, so I said, righty-ho. And that was that.
She never mentioned meeting anyone?
No, she just seemed bored to death, couldn't stop
yawning?
Right, and gave me the old, heave-ho.
What happened then, Mr. Bartlett?
I strolled around for a bit, had a drink, then sauntered back to the ballroom. I noticed that, what's her name, Josie was dancing with a Latino, been on the sick list with an ankle or something.
So I would fix the time of your return to the ballroom just after midnight.
Which means you were wandering around outside for over an hour, Mr. Bartlett.
Yes, well, I was thinking about things.
Lot to think about, eh?
Yes, things. Things,
Are you the detectives?
Yes.
I'm Peter Carmody. Grandfather, well, I call him that, but he isn't really. Said he's ready to see you.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Bartlett. That'll be all for now.
For now, mind.
I'm going back to school next week, and I'll be able to tell everyone that I knew the victim really well.
What did you think of her?
Rather stupid, I'd say. Her mum and Uncle Mark couldn't stand her.
Why was that?
Oh, I don't know. She was always chatting on about this and that, and they hated Grandfather making such a fuss of her. I expect they're jolly glad she's dead.
Did they say as much?
Not exactly. Uncle Mark said something like, well, it's one way out anyway, and Mum said, yes, but such a horrible one. Here we are. Better be off.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Gentlemen.
50,000.
Yes, but you don't think that...
Murder has been done for a good deal less.
But they couldn't have. They were both playing bridge. No, I think that this Ruby creature had another chap on the side who found out about poor old Jeff and went completely bonkers.
And the fact that she was found in your library.
That was just a ghastly coincidence. But it isn't, is it? I mean, the fact that we know the Jeffersons must have had a bearing. Oh, can you imagine what the village will be saying? They'll have poor Arthur hung, drawn and quartered already.
Well, of course, they'll be talking, we all do, but you must stay calm.
He sounded very strange on the phone just now. Oh, Jane. I can't help wondering.
Pretty much as she left it, sir. She was a late riser, so the maids hadn't been in by the time my lads arrived.
Fingerprints?
Nothing we couldn't account for.
The legs were bare when the body was found.
She only wore stockings for dancing, sir. Used makeup the rest of the time to save money.
So she came back here to change, and then she went out again. Question is, where?
Do they really use all this lot?
Fingernails.
Fingernails.
Better have a word with that dancer, chappie. What's his name?
Starr, sir. Raymond Starr.
No, you never know. She might have let something slip while they were prancing about. Ah, yes, just the chaps. I was wanting a word, probably not important, but thought I ought to let you know. Fact is, can't find my car.
Oh, you think it's been stolen?
Well, that's just it. I mean, one doesn't know. I mean, somebody could have buzzed off in it for a bit of a lark.
When did you last see it?
Well, I was trying to remember, but it's darn difficult remembering things, isn't it? I think I left it in the courtyard.
You think you did?
Well, I thought I did, but but I didn't exactly go out and have a look, if you get my drift.
What's the make?
A Minoan 14.
Let's just get this quite clear. When was the last time you actually saw the car?
Probably before lunch yesterday.
And as far as you can remember, the car was in the courtyard.
I've got a jolly good idea it probably was.
I'll get one of my boys to take down the particulars. Where are you going to be?
Oh, around. Just thought I ought to let you know.
Good God.
Isn't that the old biddy that was at Gossington Hall?
Damn.
Think I'll leave you to it.
Miss Marple?
Colonel Melchett.
What a surprise.
Dolly thought a change of scene might do us good. I was just about to take tea. Would you,
Lovely.
come along. This way.
Good afternoon. If you'll follow me, please. Here's your tea.
She was quite pleasant and rather stupid. That's about it.
No special men, friends?
No, I don't think so.
Did you know that Mr. Jefferson was proposing to adopt her?
Well, well, no fool like an old fool.
She never mentioned it?
No, she didn't.
And Josie?
Oh, I'm sure she'd have known. Probably planned the whole thing.
Mr. Jefferson, you see, would be feeling lonely and unwanted and would want some nice young girl to impress. Exactly like Mr. Badger.
Mr. Badger?
The chemist. Pebble glasses and a rather unfortunate mouth. He made a lot of fuss over the young lady in toiletries and even bought her a diamond bracelet. You can imagine how that went down with Mrs. Badger. So she found out a thing or two. For instance, that the young girl was carrying on with a very undesirable young man connected with racehorses who'd actually pawned the bracelet. And when this was related to Mr. Badger, that was the end of that.
So you're saying that if Ruby had a young man, then Jefferson might have changed his mind?
Certainly think she'd take care to keep very quiet about it, and not only because of Mr. Jefferson.
Josie, you mean?
Oh, yes. Weren't you struck this morning by how very angry she seemed?
Yes.
No doubt. She was looking forward to doing very well out of it.
Raymond? He's not very Argentinian, is it?
My real name's Ramon, but I changed it.
Why?
Because there's so much prejudice in this country, don't you think?
Could you tell me exactly what happened last night, Mr. Starr?
Ciao, Bella. Sorry, Superintendent.
Last night.
At 10:30, Ruby and I did our first exhibition dance, and then at midnight, for our second number, there was no sign of her, so I went and asked Josie.
Where the hell is she?
3 space.
Who? Ruby. We should be on by now.
Well, I'm sure there's a perfectly innocent explanation. Would you excuse me for a moment? Damn little fool. Who's she with?
Haven't a clue. Last time I saw her was after our first number, dancing with that chap who stutters.
She wouldn't go off with him. I bet she's with that film bloke.
Film bloke?
Yes, I don't know his name. Long-haired theatrical type. He's dined once or twice at the hotel and danced with Ruby, but I don't think she really knew him, which is why I was surprised when Josie mentioned him.
Ruby? Ruby? Well, it looks like she's put on her old black and white dress.
She should be in her Spanish number.
I suppose I'll have to do it with you. When I get my hands on her, I'll just go and change, all right?
So she did.
Wait me a minute.
And then we danced a tango. She managed pretty well, I must say, despite her ankle. And that's about it.
Oh, just one more thing, Mr. Starr. What were you doing between your first number with Ruby and midnight?
I can't remember.
Oh, I'm sure you can, Mr. Starr, if you put your mind to it.
A little dance and a chat with the ladies, you know, the sort of thing. Then I went to change.
Oh, and how long did that take?
I don't know, 10 minutes or so. Will that be all, Superintendent?
For now.
It's Arthur I feel sorry for. Shut himself away, poor man, in the hope that no one will notice him. He's quite abnormally sensitive, like most military men.
I never quite thought of it like that.
Yes, it's all this whispering business, you see, a slight here, a snub there. For both his and Dolly's sake, we must find out the truth.
Couldn't agree with you more. And that's exactly what I intend to do. Well, thank you, Miss Marple, for the tea.
A pleasure, Colonel, and I wish you the best of luck. One of those cases, isn't it, when one could so easily find oneself barking up the wrong tree?
What tree might that be?
For example, one might be asking oneself why the girl was either killed here and taken to Colonel Bantry's, or why she was taken there first and then killed.
Yes.
But that, of course, would be the wrong question, wouldn't it?
Would it?
Oh, yes.
And why is that, Miss Marple?
Because it never happened.
You mean that some fellow strangled her, put her into the car, and then decided to dump her in the first house he came to?
I don't think anything of the kind, Colonel. What I think is that a very careful plan was made and that the plan went wrong. But please don't let me keep you.
Sir?
Straight down, anyway. Tell me, what was this Ruby Keene girl really like?
Common or garden girl digger?
Well, couldn't you have done something about it?
Mark thinks I should have seen what was coming.
Left the old boy alone too much. Tennis lessons with Raymond Starr.
Jeff's always been so level-headed.
Gentlemen, I find, are not always as level-headed as one might think.
Isn't she marvelous? Believe it or not, Jane has a mind that has plumbed the depths of human iniquity. Shall we go in?
God knows what he saw in her, little trollop.
You mustn't say such things.
What's it matter? I mean, let's face it, Addie, if anyone had any interest in seeing her dead...
Mark, you really mustn't.
50 grand.
Oh, what I couldn't do with that. I'd have made the most dreadful fuss.
Oh, it's difficult, isn't it, when you're not actually his flesh and blood?
If only it had been some other kind of girl.
Or Peter?
Well, yes. Jeff's always seemed so fond of him.
It was Josie's fault. She brought her here.
I thought you liked Josie.
I do. It's you that finds her a pill.
Surely you don't think that it was deliberate?
Well, I'm not saying she actually planned it, but I'm pretty sure she knew which way the wind was blowing and kept very quiet about it.
Was she pretty?
I thought you'd seen her.
Oh, yes, we did, but she'd been strangled, you see, so one couldn't tell.
No, she wasn't pretty. Nice eyes.
She had a kind of spurious resemblance to my wife. Yeah, perhaps that's what attracted Jeff. It's a terrible business, isn't it? Hit him very hard. The awful thing is that Addie and I can't help but feel rather relieved.
Excuse me, madam. Sir, Mr. Jefferson would like to see you.
Right here.
See you later.
Ladies.
Well, what do you think?
That she's a very devoted mother.
Good evening.
And Mark?
Oh, Mr. Gaskell's a most attractive man. So many of those pilots were. But little unwise, perhaps, to talk as much as he does.
And there's another very attractive man. Adelaide tells me he's done wonders for her lob.
Peter?
Oh, hello, Mrs. Bantry.
Well, shouldn't you be in bed?
Well, sort of, but Josie said she might be able to get me a treat from the kitchen.
A treat, ooh.
You are a lucky boy.
I am, rather.
How do you do, Miss Turner?
Enjoying the last of summer, are you?
Well, actually, we're here to do a bit of sleuthing.
Oh, I see. I expect everyone will be at it once it's in the papers. The hotel manager asked me not to talk about it. Questions are bound to be asked, and I won't know what to say. And I really don't see why it should all be blamed on me, anyway.
Is anyone blaming you, Miss Turner?
Well, Mrs. Jefferson and Mr. Gaskell, perhaps. But it wasn't my fault, was it? I mean, these things happen.
But when it had happened?
We're all entitled to a bit of luck once in a while. It gets you down, you know. The cheap digs. Dancing with strangers. Spiteful lot, I reckon. Be nice to get out. Go somewhere new. It's time we made something for ourselves.
We, Miss Turner?
Well, if I'm lucky enough to find someone.
There's always Uncle Mark. He's a jolly nice chap.
Don't be silly, Peter.
What a frightfully good idea.
Fancy an ice cream?
Rather.
Sir, over here.
Just found this, sir.
The girl guide.
God's sake!
Mr. Prescott, what on earth is going on?
Another incident, apparently. A burnt-out car in a quarry.
My car, my poor
They're
car.
not sure whose it is yet.
Was someone in it?
I'm afraid there was.
Somebody in the car?
Mr. Barton.
Does he think it's burnt out? Does he think it's somebody in the car?
Into my office, everything will be... No, please, Mr. Barton, please.
Mr. Barton.
I expect that'll be the girl guide.
Now, why would you think that?
It was on the wireless last night. Her home's not far from here. She was last seen at the rally on Damebury Downs, which is very close indeed. In fact, she'd have to pass through Daymouth to get home, so it does rather fit, doesn't it? She might have seen or perhaps heard something she wasn't meant to, and if so,
A second murder?
Huh? If you've committed one, why not another? Or even a third?
Mrs. Reed?
Yes? Mummy. Mummy.
Till tomorrow night.
Peter, what are you doing?
I thought I'd lost you.
Oh, no, my darling, no. I needed some air. I've got one of my heads.
All right, you two, you'll get served.
Thank God she was already dead. Probably knocked on the head, poor kid.
Or strangled.
Do you think there's a connection?
Oh, definitely, sir. I mean, she said she was coming into town after the rally to go to Woolworths. Took a shortcut, which brought her past the hotel.
Well, perhaps she was meeting someone no one knows about.
And how do we explain it was George Bartlett's car? He was the last person to see her after all. Yeah, and when he says she went to her room, maybe she was changing to go out with him. And when they made the arrangement, that's what Pamela Reeves overheard.
And his motive for killing Ruby?
I haven't got that far yet. Either he's very smart and pretending to be stupid, or else... No, he's stupid, isn't he?
London contacts?
Oh, all negative. No special friend, nothing. But more to the point is what we've dug up about Jefferson's family. Adelaide Jefferson and Mark Gaskell are both stony broke. Adelaide's husband lost everything his father gave him on bad investments.
Couldn't you have asked Jefferson for help?
No, she never told him. For the sake of her husband, apparently. And then there's Gaskell. He was a gambler, plain and simple. Got through his wife's money in record time, and now he's up to his eyes in debt.
25,000 quid. That's enough motive for anybody.
Yeah, problem is their alibis are rock solid. They were playing bridge from 20 to 11 till after midnight, and everyone can testify to that.
That's assuming that Ruby Keene was killed before midnight. Huh?
I've told you already. She was killed between 10 and 11:30.
Yes, I know. But couldn't one stretch it a bit?
Don't try tampering with the medical evidence, Milchett.
I say, hey, look, I wouldn't quite put it like that.
And by the way, she was drugged before she was strangled. The strangulation killed her, but she was drugged first.
Touchy bugger. Well, that's that.
Well, there is someone else, sir, but strictly speaking, he's your pigeon. Lives near Gossington Hall.
Basil Blake.
That's the one. He dined at the hotel, danced with Ruby a couple of times. And according to Raymond's star, Josie mentioned that film bloke. Problem is, he was at a party till after midnight, by which time Ruby was already dead.
Well, that leaves us with, Mr. X, unknown murderer, Mark Gaskell and Adelaide Jefferson, who both have a motive but also an alibi, Basil Blake, who has an alibi but no motive, and George Bartlett, who has no alibi but unfortunately no motive either.
What about your mate, Colonel Bantry? He hasn't got an alibi.
No, but neither does he have a motive. And that's the lot.
Except for Raymond's star. There's something about that bloke.
I know what you mean. Too much swing in the hips.
Yeah, he's pretty vague about what he was up to just before midnight. But I reckon it'd be hard to make a case against him.
Hard to make a case against anyone.
Jane and I were planning a stroll after lunch, but... Oh, well.
I do like her.
Isn't she sweet? And such refreshingly low opinion of human nature. A sherry?
Yes, lovely.
2 dry sherries, please. Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gaskell.
Miss Marple, I wouldn't have thought you'd be starting so early. What can I get you? A lemonade, orange squash?
That's very kind of you, thank you. A ginger wine, perhaps. Gone quite chilly, hasn't it?
Ginger wine, please.
With just a splash of scotch.
Would you prefer...
Oh, thank you. This looks, rather fun.
It's those police chappies, the way they look at me. Number 1 suspect, I reckon. Still, I suppose it's my own fault. Flat broke, you know. Risk everything, that's my motto.
As you did so bravely during the war.
I wasn't the only one. No. Poor old Mike. He was Addie's first husband. He was shot down without ever seeing his son. Imagine that. Never seeing your own kid. And Frank, safe at home, or well, so he thinks. And then, out of the blue. And Rosamond. She was a smashing girl. I loved her to death.
Did you?
Oh, yes. More than I ever showed.
Poor thing.
I won't let that happen again. The woman I love, she'll know, all right?
It's so important, isn't it, to tell those dear to us how we feel? The opportunity can too easily be gone forever.
There's someone I'd like to tell, but she never gives me the chance.
Josephine Turner, perhaps.
How did you know that?
Just a shot in the dark. She's a handsome woman, very bright.
An expert in romance as well, are you? I didn't think you were the type.
Don't judge a book by its cover, Mr. Gaskell. I assure you I never do.
Look at me. One of the heroes. One of the nation's saviors. Can't even get a date with a dance hostess. It's a joke, isn't it?
I don't think it's a joke.
You know, he's never said as much, but I reckon Jeff has always resented me for being the fellow who pulled through.
He's been very good to you.
He's been generous to a fault. Because, in his eyes, I'll always be Rosamond's husband, as Addie will always be Frank's wife.
Suddenly, this summer, something happened to me. I didn't want to think of Frank anymore.
I know exactly what you mean. I sometimes feel exactly the same about Arthur. And he's still alive. No, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's the sweetest old stick, but men do rather think the world revolves around them. It can get so exhausting pretending they're right.
The two men in my life I've hardly had the chance to know.
You poor thing. Life can be bitterly cruel. You deserve a fresh start, you do really.
I thought so too. So when Ruby came along, I was rather glad. It left me free to do what I wanted. I never dreamed, of course, that Jeff would become so infatuated.
And when you found out?
I was furious. There was Peter, you see. His whole future depends on Jeff. I thought he looked on him as a grandson. And to think he was going to be disinherited for Ruby Keene.
I'll bet you anything that she went to meet a man that night. And Jeff wouldn't have liked that. Oh, no, no. Not one bit. When he loses it. A few days ago, for example. She was looking for something in her bag.
Who's this?
No idea, Jeffy.
Now then, kitten, you know I don't like fibbing. Who is it?
Well, I sort of recognise him. He's been here once or twice.
Didn't I see you dancing with him the other evening?
I might have done. I can't remember. He must have put it in my bag when I wasn't looking. These boys are too silly for words. Honestly, Jeffy, that's the truth. Don't look at me like that.
Whose photo was it?
I haven't a clue. Jeff has to control people. He can't help himself. But I can't live in the past forever.
What about Adelaide?
Oh, she's her own woman. Make no mistake.
You've got your eye on someone, haven't you?
No?
Of course I haven't. Yes, you have, and I know exactly who it is. Raymond Starr. Isn't he lovely? And such reassuring thighs.
It's not Raymond.
Oh?
Promise not to breathe a word. Only I haven't even told him yet.
I do.
Mark. He's the kindest man. And he was such a good friend to Mike and Frank. He's always watched out for me, and just lately, I've begun to realize how very special he is. Who knows? Maybe third time lucky.
Oh, Addie, I do hope so. And may I say, what very good taste. He has the most disarming twinkle. You'll have to tell him. After all, he may be feeling exactly the same.
Yes, I will, but not quite yet.
So I beg you, please, not a word.
My lips are sealed.
Lucky for us that someone strangled the poor kid.
Not so lucky for her, perhaps.
Because now if old Jeff dies, according to schedule, Addie and I can divide the dibs and all will be well. Wasn't me, no. Still, I don't expect them to believe that. I'm surprised they haven't arrested me already.
You have an alibi, Mr. Gaskell.
Alibis. No innocent person ever has an alibi. I'm pretty scared, actually.
Nail clippings?
Yes. Did you happen to find any in Ruby Keen's room?
Well, as it happens, we did.
Oh, I see. And that's that.
Why do you want to know about nail clippings?
It was one of the things that, well, that seemed wrong when I looked at the body, the hands. There was something about them, and I couldn't think what. Then I realized that a girl who wore so much makeup would normally have very long nails, so I presumed that Ruby had bitten hers. But if you found nail clippings, then maybe Ruby broke one, cut the rest to match.
You said one of the things. Was there something else?
Oh, yes, the dress. That was quite wrong.
Was it?
Well, you see, it was no dress. And if Ruby had changed in order to meet a boyfriend, which I believe is a current theory, why would she change into a no dress? She'd wear her best dress. Girls of Ruby's class always wear their best clothes, however unsuitable the occasion, so why didn't she stay as she was? In her best pink frock.
Do you have an explanation?
No. Not yet. I can't help feeling that it's important. She does move well, that girl. Even with her ankle.
She moves well enough. She's too hard-nosed for my taste.
She has to earn a living, Colonel.
Absolutely marvelous. It was like dancing with a stare. Oh, look, he's blushing. Isn't that sweet? Oh, he was telling me all about Argentina and the family ranch and the cattle and the hustling. Or do I mean rustling? Anyway, apparently he's marvelous on a horse. Oh, look, he's blushing again. Yes, vodka, if you please. I'm just going to, Raymond, you should get Jane a twirl.
Oh. I'm sure his dance card's far too full, isn't it, Mr. Starr?
Thank you.
You appear to apply yourself to your work most assiduously.
I was taught to believe that whatever the task, one should do it to the best of one's ability.
An admirable maxim, Mr. Starr. Tell me, were you brought up in Argentina?
Until I was 13. Then I was sent here to school.
Which one?
Meadow House.
Meadow House? I didn't think they turned out dancers.
My family ran into a few problems. I had to take what I could get.
Such difficult times we live in. So, you seem to have landed on your feet.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I thought you looked a bit forlorn, Colonel. Fancy a foxtrot?
Foxtrot? Should you be resting the old ankle?
No, it's loosening up wonderfully.
Right then. See you all later.
One never knows what's round the corner, does one, Mr. Starr? Poor Ruby, for instance. You must be very upset.
Not particularly.
Didn't you like her?
I hardly knew her. Just one of those sordid little crimes. No clues, no motive.
There are two people who certainly had a motive, aren't there, Superintendent?
Mrs. Jefferson and Mr. Gaskell.
Her death could benefit them to the tune of £50,000.
But they wouldn't have had anything to do with it. That's ridiculous. No, the idea of either of them strangling a girl in cold blood.
Money, Mr. Starr, can make people do the most surprising things, as I'm sure you know.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
Good evening, Mrs. Jefferson.
Evening.
If you'll excuse us.
Thick as thieves.
Only as far as Mrs. Jefferson will allow.
I'm sure he was up to something that night.
I'm sure he's up to something every night. But not murder. Not him.
Well, what then? Actually, Miss Marple, I was wondering if tomorrow you might... if you'd do me a little favour.
It was just last week. We all met at the guide rally on Danbury Downs.
Pamela behaving quite normal, was she?
She seemed the same as usual.
And what happened afterwards?
She said she'd be going to Woolworth, Superintendent, and then she'd be going home. That's all I can remember, I'm afraid.
Thank you, Beatrice. That'll be all for now.
Thank you, Superintendent.
I would like to speak to Florence. You understand, Florence, that it is of the utmost importance that we know everything that poor Pamela did on the day of her death. To keep back any information is a very serious offense. Practically perjury, and for that you can be sent to prison. Have you been to the cinema lately, Florence?
Yes, miss.
What have you seen?
A
Place in the Sun?
Yes, miss.
Not entirely suitable fare for a girl of your years, is it, Florence?
No, miss.
But some fine performances, nonetheless. Especially young Mr. Clift. Such a sensitive soul. Pamela wasn't really going to Woolworths, was she, Florence? Something to do with films, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, miss.
I thought so. Details, please.
I've been ever so worried, miss. I promised Pam I'd never say a word. And then when she was found in that car... Oh, it was horrible. I thought I should die. I felt it was all my fault. I ought to have stopped her.
From doing what, Florence?
It was on the way to the rally.
Can you keep a secret?
Yes.
Promise not to tell anyone.
Promise? What is it?
I've got a screen test.
What? You mean like films?
Yes. You know when we went to see A Place in the Sun?
Yes.
Well, after we split up, I met this producer in the street who'd just come back from Hollywood and said I was just what they were looking for.
You're kidding!
I'm not. And they want to put me on camera and have acting lessons and sign a contract. But I mustn't be too disappointed if I don't get the part. And it won't be all beer and Skittles, but overnight sensations can happen. I mean, just look at Vivian Lee. And I absolutely mustn't breathe a word till I've done the test.
Hollywood.
Well, Lenville Studios, actually.
Lenville Studios.
Yes, miss. So, anyway, after the rally, Pam was going into Danemouth to meet at the hotel, and after the test, she'd catch her bus home and say she'd been shopping. She got through the rally without turning a hair. Then, when she said she was off to Woolworths, she just winked at me. I should have realized a thing like that couldn't be true. I feel terrible, just terrible.
There, dear. No one will blame you.
Any luck?
Oh, no, Superintendent, just years of experience. Now, I really must get back to St. Mary Mead. Would you be kind enough to give me a lift to the hotel? Good day. May I have a minute? Thank you so much. Oh, quite warm for this time of year, isn't it?
Yes.
I just called to see if I could enlist your help for our sale of work.
Sale of work?
At the vicarage on Wednesday.
I'm afraid...
Anything will do. £half a crown.
Oh, right. I dare say I can manage that.
No hearthrug, I see. That's rather dangerous, you know. Sparks fly out and singe the carpet.
There was one, but I'm not sure where it's got to.
The fluffy, woolly kind, I expect.
Yes, that's right.
Oh. Thank you so much. What name shall I put down?
You know perfectly well. Miss Dinah Lee.
May I offer you some advice?
I'd rather you didn't.
Nevertheless, I shall. I would advise you very strongly not to continue using your maiden name.
What on earth do you mean?
In a very short time, you and your husband may need all the goodwill you can find. There is a prejudice in such places as this against people living together. It has amused you both, no doubt, to pretend that that is what you are doing, but the time for games is over, Mrs. Blake.
How did you know?
Oh, my dear.
No, but how?
Things get round in a village. The kind of quarrels you have, quite unlike an illicit relationship. It has been said that you can only really get under someone's skin if you're married. So true, don't you think?
Married or not, we do love each other. I'd do anything for him, and he would for me.
I'm sure you would.
So why do we need goodwill all of a sudden?
Because any minute now, your husband may be arrested for murder.
You are joking, aren't you?
Haven't you read the papers?
The Majestic.
I've got the gin.
She says you're going to be arrested for the murder at the Majestic. It's not true, is it? Is it? Oh, my God.
What did you do with the hearthrug, Mr. Blake?
Dustbin.
That was very stupid of you. People simply don't put good hearthrugs in dustbins. It had spangles on it from her dress, I suppose.
What are you talking about? Tell me.
Well, I mean, ask her. She seems to know all about it.
I can tell you what I think happened. Do correct me, Mr. Blake, if I go wrong. After having a row with your wife at a party and after having had perhaps a little too much to drink, you drove down here. I'm not sure at what time.
It was about 2 o'clock in the morning.
You saw a body on the hearthrug, a girl in a white evening dress. Strangled. I don't know if you recognized her.
I couldn't look again after the first glance. I mean, her face was terribly blue and so swollen.
You panicked, didn't you, Mr. Blake?
Yes. I thought Dinah might turn up at any minute, and then she'd find me there with it, and then... What the hell would she think? And then the police, and God knows what. Then I had this idea. Seemed quite good at the time. I thought I'll put the girl in old Bantry's library. I mean, he's always despised me, always looked down his nose at me. Artistic type. It's like the whole damn village. And I thought, serve him right. Actually, I thought it'd be quite a good laugh. You know, old Bantry with the dead blonde. I was a bit drunk, see.
Yeah. Little Tommy Timson had much the same idea. Rather a sensitive boy like yourself. He thought his teacher was always picking on him, so he put a frog in her drawer. A body, of course, is a somewhat more serious matter.
I mean, I woke up in the morning and it hit me. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I'd been so stupid.
You should have gone to the police, Mr. Blake.
You really think they'd have swallowed it? A bit of a prank, no harm done. I mean, you saw what that chief constable chap was like with me, pompous ass.
Basil.
I'm for it, aren't I? Get on to the solicitor, then go and see Mum. Tell her about us. Don't worry, sweetheart. I didn't do it. It'll be fine.
No! His poor mother.
But he didn't do it. He put her in the library, but he didn't kill her. He was rather under the influence of alcohol, you see, and thought he'd try and implicate Arthur. As a sort of joke.
Well, I'm not bloody laughing. I mean, look at him. It's absolutely destroying him. Isn't there anything we can do?
So you're not satisfied with the case against Basil Blake?
No, Colonel, I'm afraid I'm not.
Oh, we better let him go then.
I am fully aware that this is not what one might call orthodox.
Any other cases you're not satisfied with?
Now, Terence, don't be so silly. Remember your heart.
What, you mean you know who did it?
Of course I do. That's why I'm here.
You must hear her out, if only for poor Arthur's sake. He's in absolute shreds about the whole horrid business.
Very well.
Thank you, Colonel. The truth is, you see, that most people believe what's told them, whereas I never do. Of course, it's all very confusing that the body was found in Colonel Bantry's library, but that's because it wasn't meant to be there. I'm quite convinced that the plan had been to plant the body on Basil Blake, a much more likely person, and the fact that he put it in the library delayed things considerably.
Poor Arthur.
Yes, indeed. It was a source of great annoyance to the real murderer. Basil Blake, you see, would have been the first person to be suspected. You'd have found out that he knew Ruby Keene, but was involved with another girl, and would consequently have assumed that Ruby came to blackmail him, or some such thing, and that he'd strangled her in a fit of rage. But that, of course, all went wrong. And interest became focused much too soon on the Jeffersons. It's the money angle that I find of particular interest, and two people stand to benefit. Not likely murderers at all, but one can never tell, can one?
A mind like a sink, you know.
There's Mrs. Jefferson, passionately devoted to her son, but restless and tired of the life she's been leading. And then there's Mark Gaskell, so brave and fearless during the war, but now it seems a disillusioned soul. It was most annoying, I must confess, to find that both these people had alibis, but the discovery of Pamela Reeves's body suddenly rendered them worthless. I knew there had to be a connection. All for love and not a little money. So stupid of me not to realize, but it's those fingernails, you see. Just can't get away from them.
Fingernails?
The nail clippings you discovered in Ruby's wastebasket don't convince me at all, I'm afraid. I'm quite certain that the nails of the dead girl weren't cut but bitten. And that can only mean one thing. That the body in the library wasn't Ruby Keene at all.
Isn't she marvelous?
Which leads us straight to the one person I know to be involved. Josephine Turner. She must have known it wasn't Ruby. And was completely perplexed as to why the body was where it was, because she knew where it ought to have been.
I can't understand it. I really can't.
Neither can we.
In Basil Blake's house, it was Josie who drew attention to him.
Blake. Yes, I think I did hear her mention that name. Yes, I'm sure I did.
And Josie, I'm sure, who slipped the snapshot of Basil Blake into Ruby's handbag.
Who's this?
No idea, Jeffy.
A cool operator without a doubt, but still unable to conceal her anger against Ruby after her death. That's what I mean about believing too readily. Well, I doubt her assertion that the body was Ruby's, because it doesn't seem she could have any motive for lying. That's always been the difficulty. Ruby's death appears, if anything, contrary to her interests. It was not till Dinah Lee said she'd do anything for love that I made the connection. If Josie has a lover, then the whole thing becomes clear.
Gaskell. My God, that I should live to see the day.
No, Colonel. Not Gaskell. Adelaide. I always suspected it had a woman's touch.
Bloody hell.
Terence, do try to keep calm.
Well, one doesn't come across such things.
Maybe not a lot in Much Benham, but there is a world beyond, you know. A clever plan. Complicated yet simple. First of all, the selection of the poor child, Pamela, whose death would provide them with their alibi. Excuse me? She fitted the bill perfectly. She was not dissimilar to Ruby Keene, and what's more, something of a film fan. So when Mrs. Jefferson approached her regarding a screen test, she found it irresistible.
But the girl said she was approached by a film producer.
Inconceivable though it might seem, Colonel, one or two women are managing to make their mark on the industry.
Quite a film buff, you know.
So a date was arranged, and Pamela duly appeared at the hotel, where Mrs. Jefferson introduced her to her makeup expert.
Take off all your clothes and you can put on this dressing gown. We're going to do it there. It's going to look fantastic. After that.
Poor child. Makes me quite sick to think of it.
Give us a twirl and...
After having turned Pamela into an approximation of Ruby, Josie Turner drugged her.
Come and sit down. There. Oh, just wait until we get you over there. Have a little drink to celebrate. Lovely, lovely. Get it down.
I imagine they then hid her in one of the empty rooms. After dinner, Mrs. Jefferson said she went to write letters.
I'm going to go upstairs.
But that is when she drove the comatose Pamela to Basil Blake's house and placed her on the hearthrug. At that point, the poor girl was not yet dead. Mrs. Jefferson saw to that. She then drove back to the hotel at top speed, where Ruby Keene was still very much alive and dancing with Raymond Starr.
They had provided themselves with the perfect alibi.
I'm sorry I'm late. Had to write some letters. Sorry.
After her dance with George Bartlett, Ruby then went up to her room to change, following Josie's instructions. No doubt she was used to doing what Josie told her. And waited in Josie's room. She, too, had been drugged, probably in her after-dinner coffee. George Bartlett, if you recall, mentioned her yawning when he danced with her. Josie then went up to her room with Mr. Starr on the pretense of looking for her.
I bet she's with that film bloke. It looks like she's put on her old black and white dress.
She should be in her Spanish number.
Well, I suppose I'll have to do it with you. I won't be a minute.
Apart from Ruby, nobody but Josie went into Josie's room. And that's probably when she finished the girl off. She then went down to dance with Mr. Starr. In the early hours of the morning, she dressed Ruby in Pamela's clothes. She was very thorough, even down to the fingernails, and drove the body in Mr. Bartlett's car to the quarry, where she set it alight.
She's frightfully good.
Are you absolutely sure about Mrs. Jefferson?
I don't see how one can't be.
Such a madam. She even had the gall to try to tell me some guff about her and Mark Gaskell. Of course, I wasn't taken in for a second.
What about our orgy friend?
Oh, I think you'll find he was far too busy providing his little extras.
Good God. That place really has gone down the chute.
You see, once one accepts that the body in the library wasn't Ruby Keene's, Mrs. Jefferson has no alibi. She slipped away to write letters, she claims, whereas Mr. Gaskell stayed put the whole time. But it's so important, isn't it, to be quite sure? Which is where my little plan comes in. We will have to make it necessary for them to try to kill Mr. Jefferson. If Mr. Jefferson would consent. And because they'll still want Ruby's death to be blamed on Basil Blake. The most obvious solution, it seems to me, would be to make it look like heart failure. But hopefully, gentlemen, with your help, it won't get that far.
They took it very well.
What did you say?
That I wanted the 50,000 I'd left to Ruby to go to a hostel for young dancing girls in London, and that I proposed visiting a solicitor tomorrow. I'm surprised they swallowed it. Adelaide was very, very kind to me, you know. Helped me through the darkest times. And Frank, he loved her so much.
Josie, I can just about understand. I mean, after all, she had nothing to lose. But Adelaide, what could you have been thinking of? Dear Jeff, breaks one's heart. And Peter, poor boy.
I'm sure it was part of their plan. A new life for the three of them. Thousands of miles from here.
To think that I could have suspected Arthur even for a moment. All the time he was just fretting about these new taxes. Those creatures have put us through. How on earth could they imagine they'd ever get away with it?
Because when you're in love, you think you're invincible. It blinds you. And you don't seem to care.